What's going on, Jerome? The Black Monday has came and went, and before all the axings and all the firings happened, we did a projection of ranking the potential openings. But now that we have some hardcore data, some firm data of what is open, what is not, we're going to rank the 3 GM openings currently. Raiders, Mike Mayock. You might want to call up NFL Network, get your spot back, bro, as well as the 7 current NFL head coaching openings. So we're going to do that up. Now, we're going to take out cost of living in the area because, a nice house in Eagan, it's a little bit less than Manhattan or like the nice parts of New Jersey, whatever. But for GM specifically, it comes down to organization. It comes down to your relationship to ownership, draft capital you inherit, cap space you inherit as well. Head coach, who's your GM? Who's your ownership? Who's your quarterback? Stuff like that does matter. So we're going to rank it. So 3 GM openings are the Giants, Bears, and the Vikings. Oh, my. And then the 7 head coaching openings are the Giants, Bears, Vikings. Also the Raiders. Remember Rich Bisaccia? Maybe he hangs on to that job, but he's still the interim. Broncos have an opening. Fangio gone. Jaguars. Yeah. It feels like Urban Meyer was fired 6 years ago. And then the Dolphins, shockingly, were Brian Flores. So let's rank them. Let's go GM first. So we're going to start at the bottom. That one's going to be pretty easy. So the Chicago Bears, would be the bottom for me. I would put them below the Giants, below the Vikings, because A, you don't have a first-round pick. Yes, you do inherit Justin Fields. And yes, you do inherit $27 million in cap space. But you do have some aging stars with Khalil Mack. Robert Quinn got it freaking done this year, man. But he's getting up there in age as well. And as also ownership, where the Hallis McCaskies are just not good, right? Because Bears spending on facility, like their obsession with keeping the media out, it's not a good workplace. And you can see why so many GMs and head coaches have tried and failed with the Bears. So it's a tough place to win. The fans still have sky-high expectations, even though they had one lightning bolt year out of in 1985 with the Bears. And I mean, Lovie Smith got run out of town, and he did a great job with the Bears. So what can you do there? Next up, number 2, the New York Football Giants, where I respect John Mara. I respect the Tisches as well. I think that they are good owners, but they just have not got it right. And since their Super Bowl win 2011, they have been the worst team in the NFL. And they've had a gong show of head coaches over and over and over again, just chewing up, spit them out, 2 years making changes. And yeah, I mean, should they have gotten rid of Jerry Reese? I don't know. Even though Ernie Accorsi was the architect of those Super Bowl winning teams, but that's whatever there. They haven't fully replaced Eli Manning, which that's weird. For as much flack as Eli got in his career, you can't replace him. That's tough, bro. That's tough. But the GM job, I think it is attractive, even though you do have the media jackals of New York who are going to be sniping at every single move. I think you do have good ownership. They're not patient ownership because they do have high standards, but you do have good ownership. You're going to get money in facilities and everything that you need. And also you do have an extra first-round pick and some change from the Bears from the Justin Fields trade. And you do have some decent young pieces. Whatever with Saquon, maybe Kadarius Toney pans out. You do have the massive contract with Babytron as well as Nate Solder you can get rid of. Giants are pretty snug up against the cap, except you can clear out a lot of space. You got Leonard Williams. So, yeah, that's rough all the way around. Next up, GM ranking number 1, the Vikings, of course. You have Tier 1 facility and stadium. You have patient owners who are not afraid to spend money. The last guy who had your job was in the chair for 16 years. Well, fewer than that officially, but de facto GM for 16 years. So, yeah, I think that Minnesota is the best spot for him, even though you don't have your quarterback. Sure, Kirk Cousins can get you through 1 year. Maybe you like Kellen Mond, but you can maneuver in the draft your quarterback of the future. Plus, you get Justin freaking Jefferson. You got Dalvin Cook, still has some tread on the tires. You got Adam Thielen for a couple more years. You have Darisaw and O'Neal. You have bookend tackles, which are going to be good to go. Daniil Hunter is still a top-tier edge rusher, or you can trade him. Kendricks and Harrison still have some mileage left on them. So, yeah, the cupboard ain't bare in Minnesota. And you do have Rob Brzezinski, the best capologist in the game, because even though the Vikings sort of up against it with the salary cap in 2022. Most of the problem is Kirk Cousins and his $45 million cap hit, and that can be solved after a year. So it's not really a deal breaker there in Minnesota. So there you go. Ranking the head coaching opening. So here we go. We'll start off at the bottom. So 7, you got the Dolphins, where Stephen Ross has shown that he is just over his skis. Brilliant businessman, yes, but with professional sports teams, it's not working. Plus, coming in as a head coach, you want to make sure that your GM is going to be there long term. You have a good working relationship with them. Ideally, you come in at the same time, but you're coming with Chris Greer, and the Dolphins easily could have fired Chris Greer as well as Brian Flores. So Chris Greer could be dead man walking as well. Like, do you really want to be a head coach for a lame duck team? Plus, Tua, I like Tua. Is he the answer? Not really. It just does seem like Miami does have a dearth of talent. So you're in a tough division. You're in the AFC East with the Bills, who are studly now, and Belichick's never going away. Jets under Rob Salat are getting better. So yeah, it's not good all the way around. Even though South Beach, Miami, baby, sunshine and good times, and also no state income tax. But yeah, that one's down there. That one's pretty far down there. Next up, 6, you got the Bears. So even though you would be walking in with a brand new GM, it's basically the same things that we outlined about Bears ownership, as well as outsized expectations from the fans. And yes, you do have Justin Fields, but you don't have a lot else going on. There you do have Darnell Mooney, which is great, but yeah, I feel like the stud players on the Bears are too few and far between. And I've said on here a bunch. I think the Lions have a brighter immediate future, like say next 5 years, than the Bears do at this point. And also, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it with the Bears. Next up, job opening number 5 for the head coaching ranks. Oop, just really good at Excel right now. You got the Giants, the G-men, because even though we outlined that the GM opening was better than the Bears one, that's not by much. And with the Giants head coaching carousel, whether it be Shermer, whether it be Joe Judge, you are hired to be fired. So yeah, I don't know. And also, you're in the pressure cooker of New York. You don't have a quarterback. Yes, you do have an extra first-round pick. Maybe your GM gets you a new quarterback, but I don't know. Like, that was tough. You are in the NFC East, though. Even though the Cowboys seem to be legit, Eagles are starting to get their stuff together. Washington's rising up. It still is one of the easier divisions in the league. Next up, job number 4, got the Jaguars. So, yes, Trent Baalke is the main issue here. Like, if Trent Baalke was not in power and say it was a clean slate and you can walk in with your own GM, this job would be a lot higher. But yeah, Jacksonville, Duval, Florida, Sunshine State. But like we said, we're not taking into like cost of living and stuff into there. But Shad Khan has shown that he's relatively patient, relatively hands-off. And Jacksonville, you do have Trevor Lawrence. You do have Josh Allen, the edge rusher. You do have back-to-back number 1 overall picks. And so you do have that going on for you. And Jacksonville can be fun, man. You have James Robinson. You have Travis Etienne coming back from injury. You do have Laviska Shenault, who's pretty studly when you actually use him in the offense. So, I mean, the cupboard ain't bare in Jacksonville, but it's still a tough road to hoe, man. But I will say that the bar has been set so low that any modicum of success, like if you take the Jaguars to the playoffs, you're going to be good to go. There you go. Next up, job opening number trace. Is it going to be Raiders, Broncos, Vikings? All right, so we're going to go with Broncos at 3. And this one's really close. Like, you could honestly talk me into tying Broncos and Raiders at 2. Spoiler alert. But Broncos 3, you got jumping George Payton, new GM, 1 year on the job, just fired Vic Fangio. And the Broncos, they have the number 13 overall. No, they have the number 9 overall pick. The Browns have 13. So you have a chance to potentially have your choice of quarterbacks, depending on if they rise up. Is it going to be Kenny Pickett? Is it going to be Matt Corral? Is it going to be Malik Willis? Is it going to be whoever you want it to be? So that's attractive. Also, you got Bradley Chubb coming back, Justin Simmons. You got Patrick Surtain II. You got Shelby Harris. Offensively, you got Garrett Bowles. You got Mike frickin' Boone. Yeah, I'm going to lead with that one. Yeah. You got Noah Fant. You have Cortland Sutton and company. So, yeah, you do have some weapons. You do have a competent GM at the wheel. So, you do have a great fan base as well. Tough division with the Chargers and stupid Herbert and Mahomes and the stupid Chiefs for a long time. Also, the Raiders aren't going away anytime soon. But, yeah, I think that you could be in a good spot there. Next up, number 2. So, you got the Raiders. Where this one's a little bit controversial. Mark Davis is in charge, yes, but I do think that they do wash out Mike Mayock, so you'd be walking in with your own GM. Brand new stadium, brand new facilities. Derek Carr has been solid. Also, You may be signing Devontae Adams to pair up with Derek Carr. Powerful Fresno State, man. That's right. But the Raiders, you do have to ride it out to a degree. A bunch of bad drafts by Mike Mack and John Gruden as of late. You have that mess with Henry Ruggs, but that's in the rearview mirror. And the Raiders, they made the playoffs. So you are walking into a playoff team situation. Can you get them over the hump? We'll see. But like we said, this one technically open. But I think that Rich Bisaccia, especially if they can somehow pull off an upset, Cincinnati, in the first round of the playoffs, I think you got to keep them. I think you do. And lastly, yes, number one head coaching opening and GM opening in Minnesota Vikings, because as we laid out with the GM, even though, yeah, you're snug up against the cap, a lot of that is Kirk Cousins, but you are going to have freedom to open things up and do what you want to do. You have Jefferson and Dalvin and Thielen and Daniil as a trade piece. You have Kendricks, you have Harrison, you have a bunch of sexy, also you have Diesel Dalvin, also you have Michael Pearson, O'Neal, and Darisaw. So you have a great young core, and like we've said, this team massively underachieved, even though they went 8-9, because this was easily a double-digit win team, easily a team that should have contended for the division on paper. But when it came down to coaching, not so much. And you're starting to see and reverse engineer things that, these players didn't feel valued. These players weren't motivated. You can see why they quit as soon as they were punched in the mouth. And that's what happens when you have a coach that you don't want to play for. So there you be. And you are coming in with your own GM. Maybe it's even a collaboration of, hey, we'll hire the head coach and the GM as a package. Say Borzinga or Mbienemy from Kansas City. Say Shane and Dayball from Buffalo, etc. So, and also you have very patient ownership. You have a fan base that's just craving for a little bit of silverware, except they're used to losing. So the bar, it's pretty low. After the last 2 years, yeah, the bar is pretty low. Just going to the playoffs, especially in your first season, would be just above the rim. We'll take that. And also, Aaron Rodgers potentially leaving the division. The Lions are on the rise, but they still have a ways to go. The Bears are still going to be the Bears, so it's not bad. It's not a bad division to be in. But that's it. That's our ranking of the head coach and GM openings. What are your thoughts on our thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.